Hey guys, those of you who've been watching our videos for a while would know that we try to keep our videos on topic, and our topic is Japan. So all our videos, we try to make them all about Japan, and we don't really want to talk about anything else, any other sort of external nonsense or personality stuff or celebrity or anything like that. We just want to talk about Japan. Occasionally we'll show you a photo from Japan. We found some of the people on Facebook enjoy the occasional photo that we post from Japan as well, but that's the topic, Japan. We're not talking about anything else. However, because we use the YouTube platform for these videos, a lot of the YouTube stuff comes up and people ask us about it and want us to tell them what's happening and so on. So our plan is to make this video our definitive video about the YouTube stuff that's happening at the moment, with the intention that we won't want to talk about it again. Right? We've really had enough. We really had enough of thinking about this every day, or answering questions about this every day, or reading comments about it every day. So the plan is to make this video, and then if anyone asks us anything about any YouTube stuff, we'll just send them this video. So, get to the points. First one, COPPA. COPPA is the Child Online Protection Act. So it's some new law in America to protect children, apparently. So YouTube have told us that we're legally obliged to conform to that law. So we won't argue that. And then they gave us, we had to action it this week, and we had to tell them whether our videos were not made for children. Some of our videos are made for children, or all of our videos are made for children. So all of them made for children, none of them made for children, or some of them made for children. So we saw potential there to be a big hassle. So we've said that none of our videos are made for children, none of them. So we would guess that probably means viewers under 13 are probably going to be stopped from watching our videos, but we know what YouTube are like, and if we said that if our videos were made for kids, we can just imagine the hassle that could create. So the reality is they're not really pitched at little kids anyway. So yeah, okay, we've dealt with that. So people have been asking us all week, what about COPPA? And maybe you're having problems because of COPPA and all this. We don't think it's affected us at all yet, and we think that by saying that we don't make any videos for kids at all, that it shouldn't affect us at all. It might mean some people under 13, some kids under 13 might get blocked from watching our videos, maybe. Don't know. It didn't actually say. It didn't actually elaborate what the consequences of those answers would be, but we would guess that saying we don't make videos for kids at all is probably going to be less hassle than the other options. And it's accurate. It's accurate. We don't really aim these videos at little kids anyway. They'd be bored to death with our videos, wouldn't they? So that's the first one, COPPA. We've dealt with it. That should be the end of that. We shouldn't hear any more about that with a bit of luck. The other one is the comment thing. The comment thing is on and on and on. This week we saw the video that was released Thursday, Japan time. The comments, as of now, as of Saturday, the comments are still active, right? They haven't been disabled yet. As to the video that was released on Friday, the comments are still active. However, the video that was released today, the comments were turned off about 20 minutes after we released the video or something. So some people think it's a conspiracy. Some people think that there's someone in at YouTube that doesn't like us that's turning our comments off, and it's a vindictive thing on behalf of someone in YouTube. We don't think so. You know, we've been dealing with YouTube for 10 years, and their systems often have bugs in them. And we suspect and we've seen this a lot over the last year, they've been turning our comments off. We've seen this a few times. Sometimes the comments will go off within 10 minutes, sometimes a couple of hours, sometimes 24 hours. There's actually one video about some solar farm or something that we made a couple of years ago, and the comments were never turned off on that one, strangely, but they'll turned off on the other 3,800 videos. So we don't think it's a conspiracy or any vindictive person at YouTube. We think it's just their system's got bugs in it, and that sometimes it takes longer to turn the comments off, and sometimes it misses a video and doesn't turn the comments off or something. So we think that's what it is. So what's frustrating for us is we don't want to think about this comment thing every day, but every day what happens is a video gets released, and there's always a bunch of people go, oh, your comments are back, congratulations, that's great. And look, we understand those people, you know, we understand it's coming from the heart and that it's genuine. and they're genuinely enthusiastic about the comments coming back. But it's sort of, we don't want to talk about it because we know that they're not back. We know that it's only a glitch and that soon they'll be off again. And people, oh, your comments are back, isn't that great? And sort of wanting us to respond or asking, are your comments back? Are your comments back? And we just don't want to respond because it's a waste of time, explaining again that no, they'll be turned off in a minute. We don't want to do that every day. We don't want to talk about the comment thing every day, which is the reason for this video, is just to say, look, this is going to happen regularly, and all those comments disappear, and they totally disappear when the comments are disabled. They disappear from all our pages. We can't find them. We have a comment page we can go to and see all the comments that have been made. When the comments get turned off, they all disappear, so we can't see them anymore. And YouTube can't see them anymore either, by the way, because the other thing we always get is a bunch of people leaving comments. YouTube, turn these people's comments back on. YouTube, stop victimizing this channel. YouTube, and again, we know those people's hearts are in the right place, but it's a really waste of time. It really is a waste of time because all those comments just disappear. And we see them, boom, we release the video and then we see all the comments appear, and lots of people saying, oh, that's great, your comments are back, and people saying, YouTube, you suck, turn their comments back on, and then poof, and it goes zero, the comment count goes to zero, and our comment page that has all the comments on it poof, just goes empty, and they all disappear. So that's why we don't get involved in that, because it's a waste of time. It's a waste of time saying, no, this happens every day, We don't want to do that. Again, our focus is about making videos about Japan, and spending time every day addressing this nonsense is just a waste of time and too frustrating, to be honest. So we really don't want to get into that. Someone suggested recently that we make a video. Someone said, actually we heard this from a few people, that some people had campaigned on Twitter to have their comment sections turned back on, and their viewers got behind them and campaigned on Twitter, and they were people with like 1 million subscribers, so Twitter, they went to the YouTube Twitter page, so YouTube's own Twitter page, and they campaigned to have their comments turned back on, and it worked, and they got their comments turned back on. So we've been asked by a few people, make a video that we can put on YouTube's Twitter page. So we did that this week, and of course, 6 people shared it on Twitter to the YouTube page. 1,800 people saw the video. About 50, 60 people said, oh, YouTube, you suck, you should turn their comments back on. And 6 people actually shared it on Twitter. And of course, the result of that was nothing at all, no change. So, so the point is, we're sort of sick of struggling against it, The other question we get asked all the time is, oh, you should send an email to YouTube and ask them to turn your comments back on. We would have sent, in the last 12 months, in the first half of the year, we would have sent 20 or 30 emails to YouTube partner support and creator support or whatever else group they call themselves in there, and every time we just got a cut and paste response that said, to protect the children, comments on tens of millions of videos have been disabled. You have not done anything wrong and have not been penalised in any way. And then we'd write back and go, yeah, we know all that, but we're just asking you if you can turn our comments back on. We've never had a pedophile comment on our videos, and we check every video to make sure the comments aren't sus, and any bad comments would be deleted, any suspicious comments, but we've never had one, and and our viewers are sort of mature, sensible people, so we've never had a problem. And the response to that is, to protect the children, we've disabled comments on tens of millions of videos. You have not done anything wrong and have not been penalised in any way. Which is sort of funny, really, because we have been penalised. The result of the comments being turned off has been a drop in viewers, a drop in income. Well, YouTube income's minuscule anyway, but it dropped even further. And we've actually lost patrons from Patreon because some of them said that they were frustrated. They couldn't leave comments on our videos anymore, so they stopped supporting us on Patreon. So we have been penalised considerably, actually. But there's no point in arguing any of that. So the bottom line is that we don't think there's anything that can be done. We've tried all year, we've tried. But the reality is, and you guys who've watched our videos for a while know, we tend to focus on reality and practicality and reasonably logical sort of responses to things, you know. And that, as YouTube have told us 100 times, they've turned the comments off on millions of videos. Now, that means that logistically, to fix this problem, to turn the comments back on, really they'd have to turn the comments back on every video, wouldn't they? They'd have to just go back into their programming and change whatever it is that they've done to block all the comments and turn it back on for everybody in one big hit. Because they can individually do it. Now, just a couple of things there. One is, we regularly get people say, oh, you should go to your settings. You can go to your settings and turn your comments back on. Yeah, some people can. And if you actually look at the YouTube information on this topic, it says that you can try. You can go to your settings for your videos and turn your comments back on, and they might come back on. However, if they've been disabled at YouTube's end, they won't come back on. And that's the case with ours. A year ago, when they first turned them off, we went to our settings, we turned the comments back on, they came back on for about a week, and then YouTube did a new programming thing in there to block that from happening, because there was lots of people turning their comments back on again. So they changed it again so that we couldn't, and that everybody else couldn't. So really, logistically now it means, you know, if you're a front page YouTuber, we saw a guy the other day, some guy on the recommended list, you know, the recommended page recommending his video, and he's talking about YouTube. So we clicked on it to have a look what he was saying. And this guy, whose videos get 2 million views, every video gets at least 2 million views. And he was saying, oh, how wonderful YouTube is and how helpful they are and how well they look after the users and all this sort of stuff. And yeah, that's because every video he releases makes at least $2,000 for him, right? $2 million, 2 million views is worth about $2,000. So every video he releases gets about $2,000, which means that YouTube makes $2,000 as well, because there's like a 50-50 split with YouTube. So he makes $2,000 and they make $2,000. So of course, if he needs help with something, and we saw that too when the comments got turned off, there were some people who had connections in at YouTube Tokyo, and they contacted them, and YouTube Tokyo turned their comments back on for them. But when we tried the same thing, they just said, they sent us the cut and paste. You know, comments have been disabled on tens of millions of videos to protect the children. You haven't done anything wrong, basically. And that was it. So we've tried all those things. People are always suggesting, and this is really frustrating because people are always suggesting, you should try this, you should try this. And again, we know their hearts are in the right place, but we're getting it every day, and we've got it every day for almost a year. And it's not what we want to be thinking about or focusing on. We want to be focusing on our videos about Japan. You know, that's what we need to focus on, and we don't want to think about all this YouTube nonsense. And to be honest, it's just frustrating when we've tried all these things, having people constantly, oh, you should check your settings, see if you can turn your comments back on. Yeah, and we've tried that. We probably try that about once a month. This week we tried it again before making this video. We tried it again because, you know, just in case they've changed something that allows us to turn them back on again. And we do it about once a month. We have a go, and every time it just says, you know, it says enable comments on all videos. We do that, and you have to wait till it does it because it's 3,600 videos it's got to do. And then at the end of it, boof, nothing changes. All the comments are still disabled. So, you know, we don't want to talk about it anymore. And the advice, you know, again, we know everybody's heart's in the right place. They're trying to help us and give us advice about what we should do. And we appreciate that as well. And that's all very kind and everything. But, you know, all that stuff, we've already done all that, you know, we're not interested. You know, one guy told us a few months ago, a guy that's in the know, a guy that had his comments turned off, and then when he asked them to turn them back on, they did. Because he spends a bit of time at YouTube Tokyo office and he gets on with those guys, and he's never said anything bad about them publicly, right? And he told us about 6 months ago, you know, just if you don't say anything negative about YouTube publicly, just you know, don't say anything about them at all. You know, they'll turn your comments back on for sure, you know. And he told us that about 6 months ago, and he was gonna help us, and he was gonna talk to his support guy, and he was gonna get our comments turned back on. So we went quiet about YouTube for a while to see what would happen, and yeah, nothing. So look, we don't think there's any conspiracy going on. We think that they're very selective about who they help. You know, they're not interested in helping us. Obviously, we've tried to get them to help us. They're not interested. We're not going to fight that anymore. You know. We don't earn any money for them. There's a scary thing. There's a new policy came out this week. They changed the rules, and because they put the Google spin on it, you know, and said, oh, to help us, to make life better for us, you and us, to make life better for us, they've changed the rules to make them easier to understand and clear and all this sort of thing. And then when you look at them, they've got some really scary stuff in there. One of them says that YouTube reserves the right to remove any channel that's not commercially viable, or that they consider, that YouTube considers at its own discretion to be not commercially viable. So that what's that? So, you know, that guy with his $2,000 videos, every time he releases a video, he makes YouTube $2,000. He's okay. When every time we release a video, we make YouTube about $1, and we make about $1. Right? Which is not commercially viable for us, but it also means it's not commercially viable for YouTube either, really, is it? And people who make videos who don't make any money because their videos aren't monetized, will only get really low view counts. Any of us could have our channels disabled at any time if YouTube decided so. So look, guys, the bottom line is, to help us, the advice is kind. We know that the heart's in the right place there, and all the other kindness and stuff is all fabulous. But to be honest, the only thing that keeps us making videos, or allows us to keep making videos, is the support we get on Patreon from the 185 people on Patreon. Because logistically, and again, just looking at it from a totally practical and logical point of view, the time we spend on our videos and things is only possible because of the support we get on Patreon. Because basically it allows us to treat it like a part-time job. I mean, we do it because we love it, but from a practical point of view, we've got a family to support, we've got bills to pay. From a practical point of view, we can treat it like a part-time job from a practical point of view, and that allows us to do it. If it wasn't for the support on Patreon, we just wouldn't be able to do it. Logistically, we'd have to be doing overtime at work to pay the bills, and that wouldn't allow enough time to be making videos on YouTube and doing the other stuff that we have to do. So, you know, if you want to help our channel, you know, please support us on Patreon. That's the way to keep us doing what we're doing, because we would have stopped a couple of years ago. We would have stopped making videos a couple of years ago if it wasn't for the support on Patreon. And it's dropped off, partly because of this comment thing, but the support has dropped below our goal. We worked out how much time we spend doing this stuff, and you know, if it was a part-time job, what we'd be getting, and that's how we worked out our goal for Patreon, and it's dropped below that. So we'd be actually financially better off working in a convenience store for the same hours that we spend doing what we're doing here. But of course we don't want to do that because we love doing the video thing. So again, if you want to support us, please look at our Patreon page and consider supporting us on there. We really want to try and get that support back up to the goal where we really need it to be. And as for everything else, guys, we just need to move on. You know, we move on. I think we just have to accept the comments thing's not coming back. They're not going to turn them back on. They're not going to turn them back on for tens of millions of videos, so it means they're not going to turn them back on for us either, basically. Because it's just numbers. You know, it's not a conspiracy. Google and YouTube just work on numbers. And the big guys earning the big money, they're the important ones. And the little guys like us are irrelevant. We're just numbers. You know, we're one of billions of YouTube channels, or millions of YouTube channels that earn a couple of dollars. So we're irrelevant to them. You know, we really are. So anyway, there it was. Hopefully that's the last time we talk about this stuff. Thanks for your patience. More videos coming soon.